I apologize for the filler content that you see throughout this video. I still don't want to show off every single thing in this entire game, but towards the end of development, I will actually probably be doing a full gameplay of the game. So, yeah. Anyways, on to the video. This entire discussion is definitely late, and fucking by the time that I'm currently recording this, it is definitely late. But approximately on November 13th, also extending into November 14th, 2024, we began development on Super Macabre Madness, our first commercial released game. It has been a very interesting year for this game, as we've actually gotten a lot done in the span of a year. I honestly thought in a year we wouldn't have gotten a lot done, but this is not the case. While I can't go super in depth on what we've gotten accomplished, the base form stuff we've gotten done is the entirety of the player's moveset, checkpoints, end goals for each level, the main menu, all level designs being finished, but some may need some more tweaking, we're not sure yet, obstacles being finished, and a lot more. We're not fully finished with the game, as we still have some other things that need to be worked on, like play testing, music, sound effects, etc. But we're getting pretty darn close. Release date is still not specified, mostly because the game is still not finished, obviously. But we're personally thinking it will be releasing at some point in 2026. Again, no guarantee on a specific time zone. Once this game is done, you might be wondering what comes next. Well, next is basically a huge break that we're going to take before we work on the next project. But personally for me, there are still some skills that I would like to at least expand upon or improve as we make more games. The entire list that I have here is essentially level design. With Super Macabre Madness being the first game that I've actually done level design for, I would like to improve a lot more on this skill. That way, once we get into making more games, the levels can be a lot more complex, more challenging, more fun to play through. Other stuff would also be Game Dev Showcase. In my opinion, I would say that we started the Game Dev Showcase videos a bit too late in terms of working on Super Macabre Madness. We could have very easily started these videos much, much earlier, but due to how much work was being put into the game, it started getting to the point, at least in my mind, that we really need to make more Game Dev Showcases before the game is done, and we're putting it out there without getting people's attention. I mean, it's the only really way your games are going to thrive. If you don't give it enough attention, no one's going to play it. When the next project starts, we'll try to get going on this stuff a bit earlier, but not too early so we don't end up just showing people an empty project with like a background, a bunch of squares, and just talking about stuff of what we would like to accomplish. I have no idea how common or how frequent or how long these next videos are going to be, but they will be worked on at some point. Coding, slightly. I say slightly mostly because I've tried to do some more complex coding, but more often than not, I would get super frustrated with how things are going and end up just having to ask for help a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not recording with OBS right now, but I am in a call with John as he is currently working on coding, so he said hello, by the way. What John and I have agreed on is that once the next project starts, I'll only come in to help out with more of like the basic / simplistic / base level coding stuff. But once we start treading on the heavier / more complex / higher level of coding, he would step in to work on that. Our hope for the future projects is that I can develop a much better understanding of base level coding. That way I can quickly set things up without having to constantly ask for help. We would actually refer back to Super Macabre Madness for a lot of its code and reuse it in future projects. I mean, that's what 99% of our projects are going to be, just lifting code from previous projects and putting it into the next one, especially with all the games that I have in the lineup. Writing, while Super Macabre Madness doesn't have much in terms of dialogue and story, the future games that I plan on making, and to an extent John's games, are going to be a lot more story / writing heavy. I'm not absolutely terrible when it comes to writing, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'd say I'd somewhere in between mediocre, if you will. I might not be good at writing, but I am also not very good at speaking. I can barely fucking speak. Music and sound design. While I've already tinkered around with music, it's nowhere near a level of being perfect for a soundtrack. I do want to tinker a lot more with music, whether including it in my actual games, using it as an example / reference for an upcoming track, or just for fun. I have messed around with sound design in previous projects, and I absolutely loved it. I would not mind getting my hands dirty with sound design due to how cool the process for making sounds is. I mean, at some point in the future, I'm going to be turning my entire closet into like a tiny little like recording room. You know, perfect for me to record like voice lines or, again, the aforementioned sound effects. I mean, it'd be pretty funny if I just sit in my entire like closet and just start banging shit together and just, seeing how that sounds. That's all I can really think about for right now. Again, there's still a lot more stuff that needs to be done for this game before we can actually start focusing on the future stuff. I would ask John for his opinions as well of what it's been like for working on a game for an entire year. He basically summarized it in one sentence being, it started off as good, now it's going on to... Ah! That's basically been the entire process. So, yeah. The next Game Dev Showcase that might be worked on, it might not be until much later in the future. It might still be that music / sound effects thing that I was talking about. Again, I honestly don't know. Unfortunately, the person who is our current and only audio editor is unfortunately in America right now, which I know that sounds weird, but the guy that I've gotten on board is Australian. So, kind of MIA from being able to do anything. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you whenever the next one comes out. I don't know. Well, I say thank you for watching, but I am going to quickly ramble on about this. This is something I was going to throw on this video anyways. So, whenever you watch this and whenever I upload this, it's probably going to be tomorrow by the time that I'm recording this, being Christmas Eve, which, Merry Christmas, by the way, and Happy Holidays. I figured I would throw this in here considering that we're getting closer to the very end of the year. And I'm going to probably just put another end of the yearly end update, end and stuff. I honestly don't know what I'm going to record or work on in 2026. Originally, there was supposed to be a OC animation that I was going to release around Christmas time, just let that sit there for a while until I eventually work on another video. But unfortunately, I kind of ran out of motivation and ran out of time to do it. I would just do it right as I finish recording this and then, save it and export it and upload it and whatnot, but I don't want to rush it, so I might work on the video and upload it at some random point in time in 2026. I'll obviously leave a disclaimer that was supposed to be for, Christmas, but yeah. 2026, besides the OC stuff, I don't have anything else really planned at the moment. Probably maybe more OC stuff like that, and still going to be a lot more game dev showcase stuff, and then, advertising the game until it's, fully released, and then I'll just go from there. Unfortunately, if you still really don't want to see any of the game dev stuff like that, there's a subscribe button. Click on that, and you're unsubscribed. Congratulations. Have a great rest of your day, and happy holidays. So, yeah. Going forward, don't expect the same amount of stuff that I've been doing in the previous years and whatnot, so I'm probably not going to really do a whole lot of full gameplay stuff like that. I might do a tier list here and there. I did record a tier list with QWERTY with basically us re-ranking all of our games for Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't been working on that because I've just been procrastinating like a motherfucker, and that video is 3 hours long, I think. But that'll come eventually whenever I feel like actually working on it some more. Something else that I want to mention here, don't expect a whole lot more of these end of the yearly end update videos. I don't think I'll plan on making any more past this point because I don't really have a whole lot going on in my life here. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say for the end of this year. I won't really talk about the specifics of like why 2025 is like a bad year by every people, but I will say my 2025 has been pretty darn busy because, as I mentioned, or maybe I didn't, I don't remember, I talk about a lot of things in other videos and whatnot. I recently moved out of my parents' house, and I am now living in my own house with my older brother. So, we've just been doing all the bunch of homeowner shit, like paying the bills and whatnot, and other things that homeowners do. So, I've been busy with that. And also just been busy with work in general, so yeah, that's about it. Whatever comes out is whatever comes out. I may not even upload throughout the entirety of the fucking year and just upload something at the very end. I don't know. But anyways, for real this time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you the next time once I release another Game Dev Showcase. Have a great day.